Hello, everyone, and welcome to Path of Glory, the podcast that helps you learn English step by step through real-life conversations. My name is Emma.
And I'm Daniel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something exciting, traveling abroad.
Traveling abroad means going to another country, exploring new places, meeting new people, and of course, using English to communicate during your journey.
Many English learners feel nervous when they travel for the first time. They worry about speaking at the airport, passing through immigration, or checking into a hotel.
So in this episode, we'll make sure you feel comfortable and confident using English when you travel internationally.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll know all the common travel expressions you need, from buying tickets to arriving safely at your hotel.
All right, let's start with our vocabulary preview. These are words and phrases that you'll hear throughout the dialogue today.
The first word is itinerary. Your itinerary is your complete travel plan. It includes your flight, hotel, dates, and activities.
For example, if you fly from Mumbai to Dubai, stay 3 nights, and then go to Paris, that's your travel itinerary.
The next word is boarding pass. This is the document or digital ticket that lets you get on the plane. You receive it after you check in.
Yes, without a boarding pass, you can't board the aircraft. Make sure you keep it safe and easy to reach.
Our next word is customs. Customs is the area at the airport where officers check what passengers are bringing into or out of a country.
Right. You'll hear the question, do you have anything to declare? That means they're asking if you're carrying items like food, alcohol, or large amounts of money.
Another useful word is luggage, also called baggage. It means your suitcases and bags.
You usually have 2 types of luggage: carry-on luggage, which you take on the plane with you, and checked luggage, which you hand over at the counter.
The next term is visa. A visa is permission from a country allowing you to enter for a specific reason, for example, to study, to work, or for tourism.
Some countries allow you to enter without a visa, but others require you to apply before you travel. It's always important to check visa requirements in advance.
And finally, we have currency exchange. This means changing your local money into the currency of the country you're visiting.
For example, if you're traveling from India to Japan, you'll exchange rupees for yen.
Excellent. These are key words you'll hear often while traveling abroad. Now that we know the vocabulary, let's move on to the first dialogue, where 2 travelers go through the airport process step by step.
Daniel, imagine we're about to take a flight from our country to London. Let's go through everything step by step, just like real travelers do.
Sure. So first, we arrive at the airport. The first thing we do is find the airline counter to check in for our flight.
That's right. When you check in, you give your passport and your ticket to the airline staff. They confirm your booking, weigh your luggage, and print your boarding pass.
The staff member might say something like, "May I have your passport, please?" Or, "Do you have any bags to check in?"
Exactly. And if you only have carry-on luggage, you can say, "No checked bags, just 1 carry-on."
After checking in, you'll receive your boarding pass, which shows your flight number, gate number, and seat number. Always double-check the gate and boarding time.
Then comes security check. You'll be asked to place your belongings in a tray, your laptop, phone, and jacket. The officer might say, "Please remove all metal items," or "Take off your shoes."
After passing security, you'll head to the departure gate. There you can wait for boarding to begin. You might hear announcements like, "Flight 302 to London is now boarding at gate 14.
When you reach the gate, the agent usually says, "Passport and boarding pass, please." You show both, and then you can enter the plane.
Once inside the plane, you'll find your seat number, for example, 18A or 22C. You can ask the flight attendant, "Excuse me, could you please help me find my seat?"
Then, after takeoff, you'll hear the flight attendants make announcements about safety, meals, and landing time. They might ask, "Would you like chicken or vegetarian for your meal?"
I usually say chicken, please, and a cup of coffee. It's always polite to say please and thank you on flights. It makes the journey pleasant for everyone.
After several hours, the plane lands at your destination. You go through immigration control. The officer there will check your passport and visa.
They'll probably ask you a few questions, such as what's the purpose of your visit, or how long will you stay in the country?
You can answer, I'm here on vacation for 1 week, or I'm here for business meetings for 3 days. Always answer clearly and honestly.
Once you pass immigration, you go to the baggage claim area to collect your luggage. You can look at the screens to find which belt your flight's baggage will arrive on.
Yes, for example, it might say Flight 302 from Mumbai, Belt 6. Then you wait for your suitcase to come around on the conveyor belt.
After collecting your luggage, you walk through customs. If you have nothing to declare, you can go through the green line that says nothing to declare. But if you're bringing something that must be reported, like expensive electronics, food, or a large amount of money, you go through the red line and say, I have something to declare. After customs, you're finally out in the arrival hall. You can meet your friends, take a taxi, or find a shuttle bus to your hotel.
Great! That's the entire process from checking in at the airport to arriving in a new country. Many English learners face these steps, so knowing these phrases can really help.
I agree. And now that we've gone through the situation, let's explain some of the useful words and expressions that appeared in this dialogue.
Let's take a closer look at some of the important words and expressions we just used in the airport conversation.
Great idea. The first expression we heard is check in. To check in means to register before your flight. You give your documents to the airline staff so they can confirm your ticket and give you a boarding pass.
Exactly. And you can say, I need to check in for my flight, or where is the check-in counter? You'll also hear online check-in, which means you can do this process through the airline's website before you arrive at the airport.
The next useful phrase is boarding gate or just gate. The boarding gate is the specific place at the airport where you go to enter your plane. You'll see it written on your boarding pass, for example, Gate 14 or B2.
That's right. You'll also hear airport announcements saying things like, passengers for Flight 501 to Singapore, please proceed to Gate 22. Proceed simply means go to.
The next phrase is security check. This is where airport officers make sure passengers and their bags are safe to travel. You may be asked to remove shoes, belts, or jacket, and to place your things in a tray for scanning.
And remember, liquids over 100 milliliters are not allowed in your carry-on luggage, so it's best to keep small containers or put large bottles in your checked luggage.
Another common situation is immigration control. This is where officers look at your passport and visa before they allow you to enter the country.
They might ask questions like, what's the purpose of your visit? Or how long will you stay in the country? It's important to answer clearly and politely. If they can understand you easily, the process goes much faster.
Then comes baggage claim. That's the area where passengers pick up their checked luggage after a flight. The moving machine that carries the bags in a circle is called a conveyor belt.
So you might say, I'm waiting at the baggage claim, or my suitcase hasn't arrived yet. If your luggage is lost, go to the lost and found counter or baggage service desk.
The next phrase is nothing to declare. This is something you'll hear at customs. If you have nothing that needs to be inspected, you go through the green channel.
But if you're bringing something that needs to be reported, like expensive electronics, food, or a large amount of money, you go through the red channel and say, I have something to declare.
Another word travelers should know is currency exchange. This is where you exchange your money for the local currency. You can find exchange counters in airports, banks, or shopping areas.
When you go to exchange money, you can say, what's the exchange rate today? Or I'd like to exchange $200 to euros.
Finally, let's talk about the phrase money is no object. In the previous episode example, we heard that phrase, meaning that the person doesn't care how much it costs. It's a good idiom to know when talking about travel or shopping.
That's right. If you say money is no object, you mean you're willing to spend whatever it takes to get the best experience.
These expressions are all very useful for travelers. The more you practice them, the more confident you'll feel in real airports and foreign countries.
Exactly. The best way to learn is by imagining real-life situations and practicing the words out loud. Speaking them builds memory faster than reading them silently.
Now that we've reviewed the vocabulary, why don't we continue our story? Let's imagine Emma and Daniel have arrived in London and are checking into their hotel after a long flight.
Perfect. This next part will teach you English for hotel check-in, booking, and asking for services while staying abroad. After a long flight, we've finally arrived at our destination, Daniel. Let's check into our hotel and see how travelers can use English there.
Good idea. So imagine we're at the front desk of a hotel in London. I'll play the guest and you can be the receptionist.
Great, let's begin.
Good afternoon. I have a reservation under the name Daniel Parker.
Welcome to the Grand View Hotel, Mr. Parker. May I please see your passport and booking confirmation?
Of course, here you go. I booked a double room for 3 nights.
Thank you. Yes, I can see your reservation here. You'll be staying from the 5th to the 8th of July. Would you like a smoking or non-smoking room?
Non-smoking, please. And does the room include breakfast?
Yes, it does. Breakfast is served on the first floor between 7 and 10 a.m. Also, our Wi-Fi password is printed on your keycard holder.
Perfect. What time is checkout on the last day?
Checkout is at 11 a.m. If you need a late checkout, please let us know the night before. There might be an extra charge.
That's fine. Could you also arrange a wake-up call for tomorrow at 7 a.m.?
Absolutely. I'll set that up for you right away. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes, actually. Could you recommend any good local restaurants nearby? I'd love to try some traditional British food.
Certainly. There's a lovely place called the King's Table just 2 blocks away. They serve classic dishes like fish and chips and shepherd's pie.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for your help.
My pleasure. Enjoy your stay at the Grand View Hotel.
See, that's how you can check into a hotel and ask questions politely. It's all about being clear and using polite expressions like please and could you.
Exactly. Phrases like could you please or would you mind sound very polite and natural in English. For example, could you please help me with my luggage is much nicer than just saying help me with my luggage.
Now that we've checked in, let's imagine we're out exploring the city the next day. Travelers often need to ask for directions or transportation advice. Let's show our listeners how that sounds in real conversation.
Okay, let's say we're standing near a train station and we want to go to the British Museum.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the British Museum from here?
Sure. You can take the Underground from King's Cross Station, take the Piccadilly line, and get off at Russell Square. The museum is just a 5-minute walk from there.
Thank you very much. Do I need to buy a ticket before entering the train?
Yes, you can buy a ticket from the vending machine or use a contactless card. Just tap it on the yellow card reader before and after your journey.
That's helpful. And what if I get lost? What should I say if I need help finding my way?
You can say, "Excuse me, could you help me? I think I'm lost." Or, "Can you show me on the map?" People in most cities are friendly and willing to help.
It's also useful to know how to ask for the price of transportation. For example, how much is a one-way ticket to Oxford? Or what's the fare for this bus?
Yes, and sometimes you'll hear the phrase round trip or return ticket. A round trip ticket means you're buying both the journey to your destination and the journey back.
That's a great point. So if you only need to go one way, you buy a one-way ticket. If you plan to come back, you buy a round-trip ticket.
Exactly. Simple and very useful. Travelers can also ask about nearby attractions. You could say, "What are the most popular sites around here?" Or, "Is there a guided tour available?"
And when you're done sightseeing and want to rest, you might need to call a taxi. You can say, "Could you call me a taxi, please?" Or, "Where can I find a taxi stand?"
That's right. And remember, in some cities, you can also use ride apps. The driver will usually text or call to confirm your pickup point.
So far, we've covered airport English, hotel English, and how to explore the city. Let's take a short moment to explain some of the new vocabulary that appeared in these conversations.
Good idea. The first word is reservation. A reservation means you have booked something in advance. For example, a room, a seat, or a table.
The next term is wake-up call. In hotels, a wake-up call is a service where the staff calls your room at a specific time to wake you up.
We also mentioned check-out. Check-out means the time you leave the hotel and return your room key.
Another useful term is vending machine. This is a machine that sells drinks, snacks, or tickets when you insert money or use a card.
And the phrase guided tour means a trip led by a guide who explains the history and facts about the place you're visiting.
Very true. Using these words naturally will make any traveler sound more fluent.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more natural you'll sound in real situations.
Now let's move on to our final section where we'll review the most important words and expressions from today's episode.
We've covered a lot of useful English in this episode, so now it's time for a quick review. Let's go over the most important travel words and expressions we learned today.
Great. I'll say the meaning and you can say the vocabulary word. Our listeners can repeat after you for practice.
Perfect. Let's begin.
The plan of your trip, including dates, flights, and places you'll visit.
Itinerary.
The document or ticket that lets you board your plane.
Boarding pass.
The bags or suitcases you travel with.
Luggage or baggage.
The area where officers check what passengers bring into the country.
Customs.
Permission to enter another country for tourism, study, or work.
Visa.
The place where you pick up your luggage after a flight.
Baggage claim.
The process of confirming your flight and getting your boarding pass before travel.
Check-in.
A room booking made in advance at a hotel or restaurant.
Reservation.
Changing your money from one country's currency to another.
Currency exchange.
The area at the airport where you board the plane.
Gate.
The process where officers check your passport and visa before entering a country.
Immigration control.
The time when you must leave your hotel and return your room key.
Checkout.
A phone call from the hotel to wake you up at a certain time.
Wake-up call.
A short trip or visit led by someone who explains the history and facts about the place you're visiting.
Guided tour.
A ticket that allows you to go to a place and return again.
Round trip.
A small machine that sells drinks, snacks, or tickets.
Vending machine.
To declare or have something to declare.
To declare or have something to declare.
Great, let's now move to some useful phrases travelers can use anywhere.
Yes, listeners, try to repeat after me as we go through each one. Could you please help me find my gate?
Excuse me, where is the check-in counter for Flight 202?
May I have an aisle seat, please?
How long is the flight?
What time does boarding start?
I'd like to exchange some money. What's the exchange rate today?
Could you recommend a good local restaurant nearby?
How do I get to the train station from here?
I think I'm lost. Could you help me, please?
Can I have the bill, please?
Excellent. These are polite and natural phrases that travelers can use anywhere in the world.
And remember, when you travel, tone and politeness are just as important as the words themselves. Saying please, thank you, and excuse me can make a huge difference in how people respond to you.
That's true. Many English learners worry about speaking perfectly, but communication is more about clarity and kindness. If you stay calm and polite, people will understand you.
And we encourage our listeners to practice speaking out loud. Imagine you're at the airport or hotel and act out these dialogues on your own.
Yes, repetition helps you build confidence and fluency. The more you speak, the more natural English will feel.
Let's give our listeners a short speaking challenge.
Okay, good idea. Here it is. Imagine you're arriving in a new country for the first time. Practice introducing yourself to the immigration officer, asking for directions to your hotel, and checking in at the front desk. All in English.
That's a fantastic exercise. You can even record your voice and listen back to hear your pronunciation.
Step by step, that's how you improve. Every conversation makes you stronger and more confident.
Today, we traveled together from the airport to the hotel and around the city, all in English. That's quite an achievement for our listeners.
Absolutely. You've learned how to use key travel vocabulary and polite expressions that will help you communicate smoothly anywhere in the world.
And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, remember to review your notes and practice these dialogues daily. Repetition will turn them into natural speech.
And in our next episode, we'll talk about another exciting topic: how to handle travel problems like lost luggage, delayed flights, and missed connections.
That's going to be very useful. Everyone faces travel challenges at some point, so learning how to respond in English is essential.
Until then, keep practicing and never stop learning.
This is Daniel.
And I'm Emma.
Thanks for listening to Path of Glory, your journey to fluent English.